What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Hustle and Heart Podcast. I got Paige Monet with me today.
Hey.
Appreciate you coming in. So we got an important topic today, and I know a lot of people is going through this in their daily life, especially trying to be an entrepreneur. But the topic is being an entrepreneur, and let me look at that one more time, y'all. we're gonna have some. All right, here we go. So the topic is balancing work and life as a solo entrepreneur. So, what type of obstacles that do you face when it comes to being a solo entrepreneur and also, still being able to work, your actual job?
A lot.
A lot. Okay.
Because, I'm entrepreneur, I'm also a single mom, and then I'm in school, so I have that, and then, my regular job.
Right.
So it is a lot. I don't know. Some days I just be telling myself, you just gotta be tired today. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta get, so I'm like designer of Invade, so it's like I'm new, it's up and coming, so it's like I'm still trying to like figure things out, see where like because that's my passion, like that's really what I want to do, like so it's like trying to figure out where does that fit in my schedule,
Right.
on top of everything else I have to do.
Right.
So like I said, some days I gotta tell myself like you're just gonna be tired today.
Listen. Sometimes pushing through it though, I feel like it's the best thing to do because a lot of people look back like 2 to 3 years later, like, bro, I started this at this day. I wish I would have kept going. So now it's like, all right, let me get started again.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you really push through those obstacles in life and like push through trying to figure out like, what's the next step for your business, it's like, okay, how do I do this? Where do I start? Where do I make time for myself? And do I really want to do this?
Yeah. Every day, like, man, you know what? I'm about to quit.
Yeah, look, it's over. I'm about to get out of there. I'm gonna get out of there. I've went through a bunch of different obstacles when I started working a 9 to 5, trying to be able to manage my time, and also still learning how to be an entrepreneur because I didn't come from being an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family went to the military, and I went to the military. Like, it was just a lot of things that I tried to branch off and do, because one thing I wanted to do was not work for the man.
Yeah.
The man at all. I'm like, man, look, he telling me I gotta be there at 7 o'clock, and
I gotta get off at this time.
Yeah, I gotta get off at this time. Like, I just felt like it was too controlling for one. For two, I was putting a lot of time into, that company while they're only paying me a certain percentage of millions of dollars that they're making, which I understand because that's just what
business is.
That's what business is. And now I understand that when I have employees as well. But and then three, it was just like, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur and I don't really have time for me. So I took the step, and I should have waited a little bit longer, because I didn't know the proper ways to manage my business. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you got to market for your business. You got to do your own finances. You got to deal with angry customers if you got those. You got to know what's your inventory looking like. You got to know how to invest. It's just so much you got to do when it comes to being an entrepreneur besides, obviously taking care of, you and yourself. That's always going to happen whether you got a job or, whether you don't. But the business aspect of it is...
It's a lot.
It's a little challenging.
It's definitely a lot. And that's kind of like where I'm at with it. Like, what route am I really going? Like, and then like in the fashion world, it's so... Like, I did makeup for 4 years, and that I feel like I had a little bit more control over versus what I'm doing now. Because, makeup, you get a client doing makeup, boom, you gone.
Right.
But, like, with this, it's like you got to kind of stay in the know. Like, I'm doing more of a background work versus than what I was doing in makeup. And then, like, I feel like everything, it takes patience for sure. But, like, in the fashion industry, I could literally think of an idea, and I get on Instagram, and it's like, boom, I see it. And it's like, dang, like I just, I've been sitting on this idea, now somebody else doing it. So it's kind of like that titty tatter of like being patient, like how you said, like you feel like you kind of should have waited. But it's like sometimes like when do you stop waiting? Like,
Honestly, some people always told me like, you got an idea, somebody else gonna have the same idea. Somebody else
yeah,
probably gonna do it exactly the same way you do it, and that happened to me a couple times. With being a photographer and a videographer, people create pictures, they do videos, it
yeah,
look the same exact way as yours. But what I did was I created my own lane. Once I did that and really tapped into what I, you know, thought was my passion, which it was just sticking to me, sticking to my lane, doing a lot of commercials and doing a lot of interviews and, doing a lot of business stuff. And life got better. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes those trends that a lot of people are doing right now, like they're trends.
yeah,
So it's like every time a trend switch, it's like you got to keep up with the trends.
yeah,
But if you create your own lane, stay in
yeah.
your lane,
You
you
ain't got nothing
good
to
to
worry
go.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that
have
makes
nothing
sense.
to worry
Yeah.
about. So that's why I said like it's you're gonna see a lot when it comes to like being an entrepreneur, but sometimes you got to push through. And they say like it take 5 years to really become like stable, to really like say, all right, this is what this is. I got enough clientele. I'm good to go. So I mean, I don't know. I just think that the fashion industry, which I don't know too much about. I mean, I can throw on a
Yeah.
little shirt or something, nice little hat.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to the fashion industry, like what you got on with the jewelry, the heels, and the it's like I feel like it's a very 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 broad thing.
Yeah.
Like fashion, I feel like it's almost art.
It is for sure.
And I mean, I don't know too much of fashion about fashion. What you can tell us about, how you got into fashion and what really made you, tune into that lane. But like, you really make things look how you want them.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just how it is. So like, what is the fashion industry about? Like, what got you into fashion? Like, what drove you to want to do what you do now?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's been my passion since I was a kid. Like I said, I did makeup for 4 years, but I knew that was never really like my calling. It just made sense at the time. Like it was a form of money, like a form of income, which is why I feel like this is more my passion. Because I feel like when I did makeup, I didn't do things the right way. Like I didn't do like the background work or like like the real business side to it. Like, but with this, it's like, no, I'm all in. Like, I'm doing it, taking the correct steps. But since I was a kid, I was like, when I out of high school, I'm like, I'm going to FIT, which is Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. Like, I always knew in some way, shape, or form, I was going to be into fashion.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, I'm just one of them girly girls. I like to get cute. Like, I like to put some clothes on.
Okay
Like
then.
you said,
Okay
and it's
then.
a form of art. Like, it's a way that you can express yourself for real. So, I don't know. I always wanted to give people a way to be able to express themselves. But
Yeah, I
most
mean, I love it. I love it. But the thing is, a lot of people say that if you got a passion for it, like you put more effort into it.
yeah,
If it feels like a job,
yeah,
you like, bro,
yeah, it's slow.
it's slow. Yeah,
It's slow.
like man, I'm just making some money. I don't care about what's going on. As long as the income coming in, we good. I'm steady. I'm cool. Bills is paid. I ain't gotta worry about nothing.
Yeah.
But like when you actually, it's like a passion. It doesn't feel like a job, and you love doing it. Like you treat it differently.
Yeah.
You treat
No,
it
I
differently.
agree. Like I said, it got to a point with makeup. I used to get irritated every time I get a client. I used to be like, bruh, like, all right, come on, like, cause I know this is the way I'm gonna have to pay my bills and take care of me.
Right.
But yeah, no, it started to feel like a job, and that's why I'm like, okay, this ain't for me. Cause makeup, that really wasn't where it was supposed to go. That was supposed to just be like my outlet. But you know how like sometimes people can kind of talk you into doing stuff. Like you could take clients, do makeup,
Right.
like okay,
Right.
like, but nah, it just wasn't it. But I do feel like this is me. This is my lane. Like so.
I mean, stick with it, stay strong. I mean, that's really the only thing that I could like give you advice on is because sometimes it's like it be hard and you be tired. You don't feel like doing it. You gotta make content. You gotta make it look
Every
good
day.
every day. You gotta get up like, man, I don't feel like recording today.
Like you gotta really sell yourself.
Yeah,
Like so.
yeah. It's tough.
That's
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, especially with you. You just you got a lot going on too. Like, how do you handle all that? Like, how do you make time for the things that you love and care about? Like, what do you do? Do you prioritize certain things at certain times? Like,
Yeah.
do you,
Um, like with school, so my classes is just online. So like I try to do that. So I work, but I work at night. So that's kind of like really where I do like my homework. So like during the day, that's time for me. That's time for my son. That's time for my business. Um, so like school, I don't really like. I don't want to say I don't worry about it because of course, but I'm in there for a reason. But I do have my time for that. To and then like I said, I could prioritize doing my business. Like I said, some days girl, you're gonna have to be tired today, like,
some
cause you got
days,
orders to get out.
yeah,
Like so,
some
or
days it's tough.
yeah,
It's tough.
but I enjoy it though. Like I do feel like this is probably like the most peace I've been with someone in a long time.
Really?
So yeah.
I love to
Yeah.
hear that. I love to hear that. I think when it comes to your actual business, like, what do you feel like is next for you? Do you feel like that you want to take it to a new level by moving out of Cincinnati? You want to try to, go to other places and go to fashion shows? Like, because I know New York Fashion Week coming up.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I know a lot of people going to be there. Like, what's next for you
Yeah.
in this business?
I do want to go to Cincinnati. That's definitely like a goal of mine. Like just like for instance, like you know how you always put like a plan in your head,
Yep.
like so like I'm in school for sonography, and I feel like I'm really only in school just for like I really feel like I do that for my son for real, like
Okay.
just to always have like I know no matter what like we're gonna be straight,
Yeah.
whether it's this way or that way, like
Right.
so like but I want to be like a travel tech, so I feel like that'd be my way of like okay I can find a contract in Miami or something for 2 months. But that's also me a way I can network my business as well. Like, but I do feel like I am going to start like traveling more. I do want to leave Cincinnati for sure. That's definitely like one of my goals. But like Atlanta, they have like an Atlanta streetwear market where it's just like a whole bunch of designers and stuff come in. It's like a pop up. So and that's in November. I plan to attend that. And just keep putting my ideas out there, getting as much inventory as I can, taking out there and networking. I do feel like I'm a big, like, what is it? Like I'm a market myself. Like, I can, like I said, I could put an outfit on, and that's what draws people attention. Like I said, when I first dropped in Vague, like, more than half of my sales was from out of town. They wasn't from Cincinnati. Like, so I know, like, eventually I'm not gonna be here. Like eventually I'm gonna have to go somewhere else to keep prospering for my business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, how do you stay up to date when it comes to content? Because I know a lot of people that do fashion that probably is watching this that probably want to know. When it comes to like them building a brand, like what is something that you do? Because I mean, you are very successful when it comes to like content. Every time I'm scrolling on Instagram, you pop up and I'm like, that content fire. I like it. The outfit fire. I like
Thank
it.
you.
And it be nice. It'd be nice. So I'll be like, to for anybody that's like coming up in that era, like that want to have content or be a content creator or even be in the fashion industry but don't know how to create content, like what do you typically do when it comes to that?
Yeah. It's crazy because I feel like I'm still kind of figuring it out. Like I kind of just get in there where it fit in for real. Like
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like just be you. Like people ask me all the time, like, how do you know how to pose? Like, I always say, like, girl, get in the mirror. Like, be real confident in yourself. Cause that's the main thing. Like, you could put an outfit on, but then you could go in front of a camera. And it don't even come out right because you don't know how to pose, or
Right.
you're not confident in what you wearing or like how it's coming out or whatever. So I don't know. I just do it.
Just do it. Like, honestly, G, you just do it.
Sometimes I gotta take my tripod and go outside and take my own pictures. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta, figure it out. Cause at the end of the day, it's you. You can't put your trust into everybody else around you.
Man, listen.
So
That's interesting. I was talking to somebody about collaborations and paid opportunities. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like collaborations are more important than accepting a paid opportunity, depending on what the collaboration is for?
yeah, I feel like it depending on what it is. Because honestly, I haven't came across a good collaboration yet. Like I get people who want to collab and maybe want to send me something to, because people look at me as like a stylist too, and not just a designer. So like having like a collaboration where people want to send me stuff, or I don't know. I feel like at some point you gotta start doing something that makes sense and not just doing it just because, like,
Yeah.
like So yeah, I think it really just depends on what it is for
Yeah.
real. Like if it makes
So
sense for you and your business,
yeah.
then But
Right. Huh. So I mean, I've always thought that collaborations are better than paid opportunities.
yeah,
The reason why I say that is because it. Well, let me rewind. Collaborations is as long as it's gonna put me in a room that
yes,
I haven't been in,
yeah,
or I'm able to get in by showing up with, my camera gear or whatever it
yeah,
is, and then you make sure with a nice fashion fit, like I do fashion. Um, but then again, if it's nothing to do with you know what I'm doing, and if it's just benefiting them,
yeah.
then this obviously gonna be a paid opportunity.
Right.
But typically, like sometimes, like I've done over the past, while my business is growing and flourishing, I always look for opportunities to where maybe I'm not getting paid, but I'm like, okay, this is your brand. You're doing something with the Bengals, or you're doing something with the Reds. So let me,
Yeah,
bring my equipment. Let me
yeah,
come on in there. I'll put a little recap together. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I need to find whoever in charge
yeah, yeah,
to make sure that I'm
yeah,
always, in touch with them.
yeah.
So I'm always looking for like different opportunities. But like I feel like that's just what it is being an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Like
I do.
networking is key.
Yeah, everything ain't about the money, and I
It
feel
ain't. Yeah,
like
it ain't.
if you always make it about the money, you're not gonna really get nowhere. Because sometimes the experience is all that you really need for real. Like you said, you go in that room and now you're trying to find who in charge, and they seeing what you do. So that's another person you got on your belt. Like, so I don't think sometimes it's not always about the money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like majority of the time it
Nah. It is
yeah,
the
but
bills.
yeah, I
The
mean,
bills got to get
yeah,
paid,
for
but
sure.
but yeah, you're right. You're right. Sometimes it's really not all about the money. It's really about those connections. So sometimes you got to take that L to get where you want to be, and you can't be afraid if you get told no to just stop.
Yeah,
Like you got to keep going and going and going and going, and then from there, once you get in that room, then show them what you can do and take the opportunity to make sure that your business is thriving,
yeah,
for the next few months or whatever
yeah,
it is, and then make those connections.
yeah,
Once you make those connections, you up,
yeah,
you
yeah.
good. So, but other than that, I mean, I think being an entrepreneur is definitely like very, very, very interesting because you go from working from 9 to 5 to 9 to 11 at night,
Yeah.
and
24 hours.
24 hours. So that's why I'm always, on the grind. I'm always trying to, do different things and start multiple different businesses. Um, and it's like, trying to keep myself busy. Once I get one business, on autopilot,
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
start something else, but start it within your
What you
niche.
already, yeah, right.
Right. Yep.
I
Yep.
think
What
that's
you
a
already
big
know.
thing that people fail to realize. You really do have to find your niche. Like I was just talking about that with a friend. Like, want to start a business, and like I told you that one podcast that you just did. Like I was being a student. Like I was willing to learn. Like you do have to have a niche. Like you can't just be out here. Like if I'm doing something, I can't. I don't know. I just feel like it look tacky in a way. Like if I'm selling a lounge set and then I randomly, I don't know. Like I feel like it gotta make sense. Like
No,
it gotta go
yeah, no.
together.
I mean,
Like
it do, but you also got to know who you market it to,
yeah,
and who
your
your target
audience.
audience is. That's it. Like it don't necessarily. It's not hard, but it's like something that you should do before you even start your business. Because now, let's just say that you started marketing, your clothing brand, and you selling sets for $100. These are just random numbers. And now you like, you know what? I want to make some more money. But you was selling those sets for $100 for like, let's just say a year. Okay, so you want to jump into a different market. You want to jump into the higher end market. So all those clients that you didn't gain, all them sales you didn't gain, it's good for you. But now, let's say you take it from 100 to 500. So now your clients that you had
Yeah.
or have now, it's like You taking it from 100 to 5? What you mean?
Yeah.
And you in the back of your head like, look, I'm just trying to make some more money.
Yeah.
I want a different clientele base. But you got to think though, like if you would started with that clientele base of $500 when you first started, now over that year period, you done gain all of those people that you really want. So now you making 500 times how many ever outfits you sell within that year. So it's like start knowing really what you really want to do. Like start at the beginning. Like figure out what it is, figure out what your niche is, and just go from there. I was in business for 5 years. I've been in business for 10 years, but I was in business for 5 years and switched over.
Yeah.
And I ain't had no clients for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And they all look at me like, your price is a couple $1,000 now. What you mean? Hold on. And I'm like, yeah, like that's just what it is. But like I had to do a couple things for free.
Yeah.
To let these, corporate people know, like, I can do it.
Yeah. And it look good.
And it look good. And it look good. And next thing you know, I'm getting clientele, and it's all coming from the corporate industry.
Where you want to be.
Where exactly. That's exactly where I want to be. So now it's like, okay, I should have started it 5 years ago. Guess where I would be now if I did the whole 10 years of just corporate clients, but I didn't. But I also feel like I learned from that though.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have no guidance. So it's like, that's when it comes into play, like having knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. Boy, knowledge is powerful.
Sure,
so, but I mean, do you feel like you got guidance when it comes to your business, or do you feel like you just learning as you go?
Both. I have the best mentor, like the best mentor, who's in like the fashion business as well, but I already like solidified, like can do whatever you want to do basically, like so like I'm thankful that God was able to put him in my life, like to be able to show me, like I don't know, I feel like I don't want to say I got it easy because I don't, because I'm still learning, like, but to be able to have somebody that can kind of like guide me, like like he had already went to through the trial and error, so it's kind of like he kind of like get me like away from that or whatever, like so it's both, like of course I have somebody who like showing me the way or whatever, but it's my business, so it's like I still gotta know and be knowledgeable of myself, like so both, like so I'm definitely still learning and still understanding patience, like I said, trial and error, that's just a part of the business, like so I'm still trying to learn that without being discouraged or getting frustrated, and just understanding, like I said, I feel like with makeup I had a little bit more control, like with this it's like sometimes some things just be out of my hands, like
it do, but you can't let it stop you though. You can't, because I mean once you let it stop you, it's like it almost feels like defeat a little bit, and it just be like, you know what, I'm gonna take that L. I'm gonna keep going.
It's okay.
It's cool. It's just it's okay. Just keep going. But I mean, just over the past 10 years, I'll be 30 next year. So I'm like, I started early, but just having that knowledge and learning. One thing I can tell anybody that want to become like an entrepreneur is like, do your research. Like do your, because let's just say if you're in a clothing company or in a clothing brand where you sell clothes or whatever it is, right? Like figure out if you have a manufacturer or whomever making your clothes or whatever it is, like don't just order, know your time frame for when it's gonna come back, so that way you're not putting stuff out there, you putting sales out there, and then you don't have no clothes to sell. Like that's just a small, like a little tip. And I'm not even into clothes, but I hear a lot of people complain about like, well, the clothes didn't come on time and this and like, just stay ahead of the game, but do your research
and that's
too.
what it is,
So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but like I just feel like once people really like tune in to what they need to know, then they can avoid a lot of headaches.
I was just gonna say a whole bunch of headaches. Like, no, I agree. I feel like you gotta do your research with everything if you want to be a content creator. Baby, you gotta research Instagram.
Everything.
The algorithms is crazy. Like, so yeah, you definitely gotta do it. That's like the number one thing. Like, do your research. Know what you want to do. Like,
how do you keep up with Instagram and algorithm? Like, do you feel like you just post and hope that it go crazy, or you have a system, or like, what
See,
do you
like,
typically do?
as of right now, the algorithm change all the time.
No, it
As
do.
of right now, I kind of know what my days are that, like, I know it's going to do something, basically.
Yeah.
Like, Fridays and Mondays is probably, like, my best days to post.
Oh, okay.
So I try to do stuff in between that so I'm able to post on just them 2 days. Like, but sometimes you gotta play around with it because sometimes you just never know. I might
You
post
never
on a
know.
Wednesday and it might do the best, the best it's ever
Listen,
did.
it might go crazy. It might go
Yeah.
crazy. So
So,
what is some advice that you can give somebody that wants to follow into your shoes when it comes to the fashion industry?
um, like do your research. I always just stay in the know. Like, I feel like what fashion is about the trends. Like, what's popping right now. Um, but I always throw like your little razzle dazzle on it too. Like, I
Okay.
always figured out a way that you could stand out from everybody else. That was like my biggest thing when I
Yeah.
first started. Like, it's kind of being in the background, just looking at people, like how they go about their business, what do they do, and it's always like, well, how can I stand out to
Right.
make people see me, like,
Right.
and not kind of like crumble into the crowd with everybody else, like. So yeah, just do your research, figure out how you can stand out. How can you be different? What different can you bring to the table when it comes to the fashion world? So.
Yeah, I mean that's great advice. Honestly, I mean I like I said, I don't know nothing about the
Yeah.
fashion industry, but I do know a lot about being an entrepreneur. A lot about knowing your business, finding your niche, creating a business plan. And a lot of people skip the step of the business plan.
People.
Don't get me wrong. When I first started, I did too. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna preach that, but
Yeah.
you know. But like over the years, like I learned, like you gotta have a plan, or you just moving blindly. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what your next move is. You don't know what you about to do. You don't know who you need to talk to. Like only thing you know is I'm trying to make some money.
Yeah.
I want to work for myself, and all
Yeah.
I know is that being an entrepreneur will pay me
Will
more
pay
than my
I
9 to
have my own
5.
schedule, like, yeah, but
Yeah,
you do have to have a
yeah.
plan. That was like when before I started Invade. Like, I probably wrote my plan down in 5 different books. Like, I used to write it down over and over and over again, like, until it just became reality. Like, so that
Yeah.
was like my biggest thing. Like, especially when you just starting something, like, you gotta have some type of structure.
Yeah.
Like, so I do feel like having a business or some type, even if it ain't just a business, like, following the steps of a business plan, you have to
Yep.
have some type of
Yep.
a plan. Like,
Yeah. Planning is always a good thing. I mean, it's gonna save you time. It's gonna prevent headaches. It's gonna you know who you need to talk to at this point. Like planning is like, all right, cool. I need to buy this. I need to buy that. How do I invest into this? How do I like
this
planning
costs
leads
that,
to
like, yeah, yeah.
planning literally leads to everything. Planning, research, finding your niche, and obviously learning how to invest is like the biggest things that most entrepreneurs need to do.
Yeah.
But besides that though, like I think that overall, like being in the fashion industry is a good thing because you can make a lot of money depending on sales, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like is it now? Are you open to styling or are you just fashion only?
See, I don't know. People ask me all the time to style them, and I just feel like it's not really my lane. Like, I feel like when it comes to styling, people see how I dress and like how I dress, but that don't mean like because you like how I dress
Yeah.
that is for you. Like, so I feel like that's the problem that I run into a lot, to where I could style somebody, and maybe I just have to something that I might have to learn. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of gotta like look at you and figure out, okay, what is your style, and not kind of base it off of maybe things that I like, or you basing it off of how I dress. Like, because my style is my style, but your style might be something totally different from mine. You just like how I look at mine. It's like,
Right.
so
You speaking.
styling.
You speaking. You speaking. Okay,
I kind
okay.
of like teeter with that. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I
mean, I
kind of
don't
just want to
blame you.
stick in
I don't
being a
blame you.
designer.
Being a designer, I feel like it could be complicated though, honestly, sometimes because it's
Yeah.
like you gotta really like. It's like you gotta every detail gotta be like
No,
set.
it's talking about the smallest of the smallest. Like I said, my like mentor, he be on me like, all right, what you doing next? Like,
Right.
or like just like the smallest details of that. Like,
Yeah.
It is a lot. It's a lot that go into it. Like it's definitely a lot to go into
Yeah,
it.
that I mean, don't get me wrong. That is a nice bag, though. Go
Thank
ahead
you.
and show it out to the to
Well,
the
this one didn't
people.
come out,
Okay.
but
Oh,
this
that's
was like the
nice.
first. I had made it by hand at first, and then I had made found a manufacturer and ended up getting it
Mm-hmm.
made. But I did drop these, but I dropped blue and pink, so I didn't do the red.
Ooh, them
But
nice, and it look like it's good quality. I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
thank you,
That's
thank
that's
you.
that's real nice. So I mean, when it comes to being a designer, like, is that something that you got a passion about, or you just kind of fell into it? Other than, because I know the fashion industry and dressing, to be a fashion model is a little bit different than being an actual designer.
Hmm.
Like, was that something that you've always wanted to do, to just be a designer, or do you just want to be into the fashion industry?
I think I just want to be in fashion industry
Oh,
for
okay.
real. Cause when I like I said when I wanted to do it in high school, I wanted to be the stylist. Like I just
Oh,
wanted to be
okay.
the one to put clothes together.
Yeah.
But like being now, it's like I don't really want to do that.
Right.
Like so right now I'm just a designer. I can be the fashion model. I could be a designer. Them is kind of probably like my two right now. It's like being like the fashion model and the fashion designer. Styling, I don't know.
It's
I don't
different.
know. It's
Yeah.
different.
I feel you. I feel you.
It's different.
So if there
But
was any last words that you can give, any advice to anybody that's coming up just to be an entrepreneur, it don't have to be anything to do with fashion, content creation, anything you do, but just some advice to give those people out there that's wanting to become entrepreneurs. Like, what would you tell them to start with? How would you tell them to, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then do this?
um I don't know. Just give yourself grace, for
Yeah.
real. Be patient. It's not gonna happen overnight, like you said. Take 5 years to really even get solidified. Like, as long as you putting your one foot in front of the other, like stick with it. Like we said, research. Please do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Have some type of plan, especially starting out. Like,
Yeah.
don't go into it blindly, because it
Mm-hmm.
is a lot. Like, even with people who been doing it for years, like it's a lot. Like, so give yourself grace, take your
Yeah.
time, learn as much as you possibly can. Like we were saying, I always be a
Mm-hmm.
student. I always willing to be knowledgeable, learn more. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Another great episode. We dropping gems. Thank you, Paige, for coming
Thank you. I
in.
appreciate it.
Definitely good episode. If y'all got any questions for her, she will be tagged in the podcast, and we'll be
Yes,
posting some of these
ma'am.
gems from today. Just talking about the fashion industry and being a solo entrepreneur and what life is like. Because sometimes it can get hard. And all you gotta do is just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and from there you should be good to go. But thank y'all for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. If y'all got any questions, concerns, put them in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So we will see y'all on the next episode. Peace.